on all the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And on our YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe because we put all of our original programming up there for you to view at any time. And we have 2 websites that are up here on the screen. You can watch us on our live stream on our website and take us anywhere in the world with you. Now, we ask you to stay tuned for the rest of the show, and we hope you have a wonderful week.
You might be related to one of these people. Hello, my name is Easton. I'm going to tell you about this exhibit about the Civil War. That gun right there, that 2-shotter gun, I forgot what it's called. I'm guessing they would use those 2 bullets, not these 2 cannonballs. These 3 cannonballs, actually, they would get a cannon and shoot it out. This bullet right here beside those 2 cannonballs, they would get, I'm betting there were 2 of those, and they shot it with with that gun. And the sword, they would go close combat with it and do that. And this, they would put that on their guns, and so they didn't waste their bullets. They would go close and stab them.
Hello, my name is Maggie Grace, and I am a museum kid.
And I am talking all about Sam Mosley. The other day I actually saw Sam Mosley downtown New Albany. He was playing a song and it was Show Me What Love Is. Those are some of the records that he won for playing. There's a picture up there that shows all of his band. And here's a record player that could play, maybe play those CDs. That would be cool if it could. Up here is a picture of all of this band, and the one with the white hair and beard is him. And this is him as a little boy right here. And here's the keyboard that one of the people in this band played, and here's the seat that they actually sat on during all of the shows that they've done. And here's some records right here that they made out of the songs they played. That's what this is all about.
Hey everybody, for this week's China Virus Serenade, let's do Ain't Misbehaving.
Tim Kent, Mayor of New Albany. I've had a lot of questions on the mask, and all I can say is the governor has mandated masks for any public place where you can't practice social distancing. So the businesses, we're asking you to put a sign up basically saying it's a state mandate and ask your customers to wear a mask in. Majority of them will. We realize there's going to be one occasionally that don't. If you want to offer masks at the door, that might be an idea. I know that costs you money, but we're just asking that the businesses comply with the state and us and ask people to wear a mask if you're in a public place and you can't stay 6 feet apart. Thank you.
Congratulations on your appointment there.
I appreciate it. I'm humbled, to say the least. Well, I was kind of surprised. Steve Coker had, he had retired out in February, and I stepped in and was finishing up a lot of things that he and I had in the works with the rest of the guys at the station. And tonight they went ahead and made it official to promote me up into the fire chief of New Albany, and they went ahead and moved Mark Sides into my spot. So we got a little change in the guard, but the good thing is Steve taught us well, and we were honored and privileged to have somebody lead the department as he did, and made it one big family, and we're going to continue on as we were as one big family. And we got a lot of good things in the works. We've got the grant came through for health and safety, and we've got some more grants in looking for some stuff, and we've got some maybe a look at maybe expanding a building for a little more room. So we're excited and we're anxious to get started. And tomorrow morning is just like this morning. We're going to go in and we're going to do what we got to do to make the city a better place and stay safe.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So good evening, Mayor and Board. I am Penelope Blissett, and this is Cheryl Brewer. On March 3rd, Cheryl Brewer and Michael McPhail gave a presentation concerning a proposal for repurposing the B.F. Ford School. For this initiative to move forward, we are here today to request for a commitment to explore the building by a structural engineer or architect for a potential mutual management agreement to be established between the Multicultural Community Development Center and the city. And that's our request for tonight.
Okay, you're gonna need to clean it. Did y'all say something about trying to clean it up first so they can get around?
Yes, so in this particular initiative, we desire to renovate and restore the building to a space that is clean and usable. As of right now, the building is being used as a storage facility, along with Head Start is in one side of the facility along with the Boys and Girls School. Our initiative is to have the Boys and Girls School, also the Head Start, to remain as they are, but to actually have a structural engineer to come in and assess the entire building.
And the cost of the engineer?
Right now, there is no cost. We are actually doing all we can to actually have it done for free or at a very minimal cost. So at this time, we're not requesting any funds from the city.
Okay. What's the will of the board? Motion by Kevin Dale, second by Will. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Amy, I saw your mouth move, so I guess you did aye. Okay. All right. Motion carries. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Got a pretty light night tonight, Mayor. We've got the first three items are all pay requests. If I could maybe get those done together. Number 1 and 3 are for work on the wastewater treatment plant, KJAX Construction, and to Engineering Solutions. The second one is to Killing Construction. It is for the field lighting project we're doing with the county schools. If I can get those three approved for payment.
I got a motion by Keith, do I have a second? No. Second by Kevin D. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Motion carries.
Thank you. Hey, and I would like to give a little update on the wastewater plant. We got some pretty good news last week on that. The way the funding on that works, we got a grant from USDA, and then we have loan money. We have to spend the loan money up front. And, you know, we had a little bit of a delay on the project because we had to go back and seek some more funds, and the project kind of drug out a little bit. Well, when we first started on the project, the interest rate was 3.1%. And then when we hit the delay, it dropped down to 2.4%, which was really good. So now we hit the tipping point where USDA is ready to, they take the interim finance from Bank of New Albany and turn that into the full, the full-term USDA loan, and we start getting grant money. Well, on the USDA loan, now the interest has dropped down to 1.5%, and that's going to be for over 35 years. That's going to save us way more than the extra cost on the project. So sometimes these things, it's nice to be lucky sometimes. Yeah, I think I don't know if it could have worked out any better. So we did get good news on the interest rate. Still have to pay it back, but it's a lot less interest. Next item, we want to purchase a half-ton truck on the state contract for the gas department.
A motion by Will, have a second. Second. Johnny, any other questions or discussion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Then the motion carries.
The fifth item, I'll take a brief the board members on it because this thing, it's a natural gas prepay deal, and it's kind of, I call it an exotic financial transaction. I've dealt with these things over the years. We did them in Memphis and did it in San Antonio. We did one here about 3 years ago. We're teaming up with a group of the Municipal Energy Acquisition Company. They put together a lot of different municipal entities who have natural gas companies. And then they go through Southeast Alabama Gas. Again, that's another municipal entity. They actually, I guess, are the group that they'll sell bonds through, and I think it goes through Morgan Stanley as the bank. They sell tax-free municipal bonds, and it benefits the bank because they get to use the capital. So they save, I guess, on interest money over the money they normally have to use. They get this tax-free municipal loan, so they save money on interest. They turn that savings around and they let this Southeast Alabama Gas Company just sell us discounted gas. So we sign an agreement with the with MEAC, this Municipal Energy Acquisition Company, to agree to buy a certain amount of gas, and it's well below our base load amount. Again, we did a similar agreement about 3 years ago, and we still have some room in our capacity numbers to accommodate another deal. So the savings is guaranteed to be at least 30 cents an MCF, which again, that may not sound like a lot, but when gas is only selling for like $2 an MCF, we can buy it 30 cents cheaper, and we just pass that straight through to the customers. So we don't make any money off of it. The city doesn't make any money, but we get to save money to the customers, by lower gas prices. There's no risk to the city. The debt does not go on our books. It's all the risk is on the bank, and in this case, that's Morgan Stanley. They carry all the risk. If the deal unwinds, they take care of the bonds. And as long as all the financial, as long as all the numbers work, we get the discounted gas. And if it gets to the point where they can't make that discount, then the deal just goes away. So again, there's really no risk to us. And we've already done one of these, and it was a really good deal. I guess we did get our bond attorney, Brad Davis, to review this for us. He has looked at all the documents, and they again appear to all be in order. And this just allows us to kind of stay in. They're not quite ready to pull the trigger. They have to wait for all these market conditions to line up just right for the deal to go to market. This just keeps us in the game. So when the market conditions are right, they'll pull the trigger. I recommend us doing it. It's a good deal for our customers.
Motion by Johnny, I have a second. Second by Will. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Mayor, if I could, I'd like to jump down the agenda. There's one more item that kind of relates to me because I may have to take off here in a couple of minutes. Under the action agenda, item A, the architect contract for Miscellaneous City Project. That is the contract for the group we selected to do the renovations on the Fred's building and the Wick building, Ely, Barkley, and Dale. They have been working on the project for several weeks now. You're trying to get the layouts for both buildings in place, and they've made a lot of progress on it. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, maybe we'll have something we can share with everyone. We did start contract negotiations with them. The mayor and I and Reagan have talked to them, and we think we do have a good agreement worked out.
We're down to police department new hire request, so we're gonna give it to you.
Okay. Good
evening, Mr. Mayor and Board. We got a position that's come open in the police department, and I would request to hire Austin Kidd. He is from Egg Creek, North Pontotoc area. He's married, one child. He's currently working in law enforcement and wants to come work with the New Albany Police Department.
All right.
Is he certified?
Is he already certified?
He is.
Okay, that's even better. I got a motion by Johnny, do I have a second? Second. Second by Will, any questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, thank you, Chris. Is that all you got?
Mr. Mayor, I got one more fund came up today, kind of sort of. Not to surprise the board, but we've been trying for several weeks to get some quotes for some more body cameras. WatchGuard has been bought out by Motorola, which has complicated that issue. But at 10 o'clock today, we finally got some quotes in. And I talked to Mr. Frankie earlier today, and we have some money in the line item budget for small equipment. A few things will work. The amount is for 4 additional body cameras put in our inventory at $5,020. $5,020. In our budget, we currently have $4,800 in that line item, and request the board to be able to make that purchase, and the remainder $220 to be taken out of the task force.
So moved.
Did you make a motion, Amy? Okay. Okay, does anybody want to make a motion for that?
She made it.
Oh, she made it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay, I
Yeah.
have a second. Second by Kevin Davis. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Just a few things to talk about. The first thing is our AFG, the Assistance to Firefighter Grant, was approved. That's one of the grants we put in for back in March. It was for the washer and dryer and also an exhaust system. We were denied the washer and dryer at this time, but I'll explain in a minute why that may actually be a blessing. But what we got the grant for was an exhaust system for the trucks. What this does is anytime the trucks are started inside the building, they're hooked up and they suck all the fumes out and all the carcinogens. It's a health and safety portion of the grant. And then when the trucks leave, when they get to the door, it automatically unhooks and swings back in. The grant was $73,406. The federal part we got was $69,910.48. We need to match that with $3,495.52 in order to do that. So I'm asking permission to accept this grant. I do have to accept it. I have 30 days to accept it.
How much is the city?
The city's matching part is $3,495.52. The federal part is $69,910.48. This is kind of a specialty item. I've talked to a company up in Indiana, and there's like one more. So when I go out, send out for bids, it's not going to be a lot of return because it's a fully automatic system.
That motion by John, second by Kevin Dale. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
That being said, we were actually one of 3 that made it through the first round and accepted and was awarded money, which is great for us, but it's also kind of disheartening for the rest of the state. So next week we're meeting, the association will be meeting in Biloxi, and we're going to try to attack this. We usually hit it earlier in the year, but the COVID stopped us. So I'll be with some of the other fire leaders in Biloxi next week, and we're going to try to come up with a plan where we can see if we can help some other departments in the state get some of this grant money in rounds 2 and further. So I'll be out a couple of days next week meeting with them. The second thing is the concrete pad at Station 2, and the mayor has actually gone over and looked at it. It's in 2 parts. It was built in '96, and in 2011, Steve had it replaced, part of it. And we're to the point now where the rest of it has to be or needs to be replaced. What it is back then when we first started, of course, the station and facilities and everything was fine, but the trucks were only 30 to 40,000 pounds then, but now we're at 50 and 60,000 pounds on trucks. And the front part of the pad is starting to cave in, and the culvert's starting to cave in. We're afraid we're going to pull out there one day and fall down in it. And so we're requesting to have that repaired. I've got 3 quotes, and the money, I've talked to Bill and the mayor, and we'd like to be able to use some of the bond money to repair that.
I got an estimate.
I do. I gave the quotes to Frankie a little earlier. Do you have them? I got some more if you need them. There was actually 3 quotes came in, and the low quote was $40,000.
Okay.
Now there is one thing about this that I want you to be aware of too, though. If Johnny, you were on the board back then, so you remember what kind of hole that was and how we built it up. Well, when we replaced it back in 2011, we ended up having to go back in and do a lot of dirt work. But as we got closer to the road, the dirt got better. And so we feel like there's good dirt there and we don't have to worry about it. But there is actually a place in there in the event that we have to go back in and do some dirt work. It talks about it in that quote also. But at this time, we don't think we're going to have to. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that up front. No surprises. Even so, the low quote, if they have to come in and do some dirt work, they're still the lowest quote. And Eric looked at this. I made sure we went by the specs that we did in 2011 to match it. And I've had Eric look over it and make sure everything, was on the up and up and squared like it should be, and there was no surprises. And we feel like that we're ready to go with it before something happens. It's got to be orchestrated really well because it could take about a week. And so that means that we're not going to be able to put trucks in that station. 2 options. One, we can talk to across the street at the dentist and see if we can park there, time being, or we're just going to have to move everything to Station 1 for 1 week, which is probably what we'll end up doing. So we'd like to do it while it's still warm and maybe through the dry times where the trucks aren't subject to anything if we do decide to stay outside with them over there rather than at Station 1.
I remember the other part where there'd been a lot of gumbo mud under, or dirt, which in the winter turns to mud.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it. Like I said, the closer it got to the road, the dirt was really looking better. Of course, there was so much fill back in that back part. Kevin Daly, I think you probably remember it too. But we're to the point now, if we don't fix it, it's only going to get worse if we do some damage to some trucks.
All right, we got a motion by Kevin Dale to move forward with up to $40,000. We'll have a second. Second by Johnny. Any other questions or discussion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
And then I sent you out an email talking about the expansion at Station 2. Again, it was built in 1996, and at that time everything was great. There was plenty of room, but since then we're getting to the point where we've outgrown it. And we're looking now at some possibilities. I want to kind of put everything into planning stages right now. And what we're wanting to do is add a 30 by 60 rear portion to the station. And in that 30 by 60 portion, we're looking at a bed hall and a workout room as the major parts, with another bathroom and a laundry room that actually exits out into the bay, where when the guys get back from a call, they can walk from the truck into the laundry room, get out of those clothes, and then go into the living quarters and not contaminate the living quarters with anything as far as carcinogens. The second part of this is what we really noticed during the COVID, whenever we started trying to separate everybody out, and that station is so small. When they're in the day room, during the daytime, they're inches from each other. The chairs are right up against each other, so there's no way for them to get safe distance. At nighttime, they're sleeping 2 to 3 foot apart. And so the expansion and the way we've got it planned, we can actually spread everything out, and the beds will have 6 foot between them. What we're looking at is that, and then also some severe weather safety rooms to put in Station 1 and Station 2 for protection of the guys.
And that was going to be fire protection money.
Yeah, and what I was looking at was taking the fire protection money for the shell of the building, and that'll be the biggest part of it, we think. But take the fire protection money, because that's something we can use that money for. And the way we've got it now, we're looking for this building to last us 20, 30 years if we do it like this and do it right the first time. So we want to make sure that who follows us doesn't look back and say, what were they thinking? We want to make sure they look back and say they were planning well ahead for us.
On the code enforcement side, I got a request to tow 2 vehicles. And one is a black Pontiac at 834 Forest Heights. One is a white Nissan at 206 Thomas Circle. And Reagan, I'll let you look at this.
How long have you been sitting here?
Reagan just took my paperwork.
What was the question?
When did we send the letters out?
The last one was sent out July 16th. First one was early June. So one of them barely got 10 days, or maybe a little more, but one of them's way over that.
Yeah.
So you want permission to tow?
Yes, sir.
What's the address again?
834 Forest Heights and 206 Thomas Circle.
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, Johnny was wanting you to ask a question.
Yeah, Chris, we were looking at, I know we tried to figure out how to slow traffic down on Starland between Bratton Road and the three-way stop at the at Walmart. Before we put a three-way stop down there at Tractor Supply, which was not a good location because of the exit at Allegave, it was bottlenecking traffic. So I had asked some of them to look and see if maybe the second entrance or to Lowe's might be a good spot for a three-way stop. But I don't know, I'm sort of grasping at straws to see what might be the best option. Maybe, writing some tickets or lowering the speed limit. I'm not sure if it's 45 on that street. If it is, it may be a little fast with all the businesses. And just maybe sort of get your thoughts and see what you think.
Did you hear all that, Chris?
Yes, I did. That's a pretty good stretch there between the three-way stop on Bratton to the first intersection there at Walmart. And depending on how many more businesses go in down there, that may affect it in the future for sure. Tell you what, John, you'll let me go down there and look and watch traffic a little while, and I would probably be able to make some better suggestions, but we'll try to control it with traffic enforcement. But as far as putting another traffic stop down in, I'm not sure where one would be any better than another, or one would be a little better versus another, versus the entrance at Lowe's versus where it was the other.
Okay. Yeah, let's just delay doing anything on that tonight. And if you can take a look at it, maybe me and you get together and we might bring it up next month. Certainly, just let me know.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. I think we waited enough time on the fire chief job. We know that at this time Mark is serving as our assistant chief. He took the place of Steve when he got sick. He kept that fire department going and did a bunch of things for us. And had a bunch of phone calls from a lot of guys that work for the fire department, New Albany Fire Department, and they are very pleased with the job that Mark has done. And I think that at this time we need to move on with the position of fire chief, appoint Mark Whiteside as the fire chief and Mark Side as assistant chief. I make that a motion. Mark, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. You want to leave while we talk? I really would. Okay, thank you. Get out, Mark.
Just so y'all know, walking out, hiring is done in open meeting, but if you want to discuss Mark's performance, you can do that in executive. So I just want to let you know that.
How y'all want to do that?
What did Reagan say?
He said, you know,
What did
hiring,
Reagan say?
okay, hiring is an open meeting process, but we could discuss his performance in executive session if we wanted to do that. And maybe not necessarily just his performance, but I think the whole scenario.
In my opinion, we opened it up and received applications, and through COVID has kind of postponed all this and have not had a chance to. I don't think it would be fair to the city or the department nor the applicants if we don't interview, in my opinion.
Do you hear that, Amy?
No, say it again, but tell me.
Well, Will said in his opinion, we opened it up for applications, and we've got some, and he didn't think it'd be fair to the city or the department or the applicants if we just went ahead and appointed one. I guess you want to go ahead and interview.
Yeah, move forward with interviewing as soon as we can, whether we got to wear masks or.
Will's, he thinks we need this interview even if we all have to mask up, which we will while we're interviewing. And
how many applicants do we have?
We got about 6, but now 2 of them from like out of state somewhere. And I think we probably got 3 from the area that's got prior experience, maybe. Well, one of them.
So how is the interview process?
Well, if we don't do it tonight and go ahead and, I mean, if we, I agree, we did open up the process, and if we, I mean, I wanted to go ahead. The reason I put it on there is I'm ready to, we need to go ahead and get this done. And we've talked about it for like 3 or 4 months, 3 months, 4 months. So can we have a special session next week or something and do interviews and then just knock it out?
What was your question, Keith?
I was asking how the interview process would go. Would it be all of us?
Yeah,
Or would it just be...
it'd be better if it's entire board.
Okay, I mean, you could do personnel, but of course you got open meeting, you do entire board.
Yeah.
What's the legality of that, Megan? I mean, I guess we have the authority, we can do it either way.
You can do it either way.
You mean personnel or entire board?
Well, that too, but I was meaning the
Vote tonight, not
seeking,
interview or
choosing to interview them or not is an option. It's not required by law.
I'll second Kevin.
Oh, Mark. All right, we got a second by Johnny. To move on with Mark.
I don't understand.
To appoint Mark, Johnny said appoint Mark.
He seconded Kevin Dale's motion.
Okay.
And Will said he was abstaining. So we got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
I think we
Okay.
waited enough time on the fire chief job. We know that at this time Mark is serving as our assistant chief. He took the place of Steve when he got sick. He kept that fire department going and did a bunch of things for us. And had a bunch of phone calls from a lot of guys that work for the fire department, New Albany Fire Department. And they are very pleased with the job that Mark has done. And I think that at this time we need to move on with the position of fire chief and appoint Mark Whiteside as the fire chief and Mark Side as assistant chief. I make that a motion.
Mark, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. You want to leave while we vote?
I really would.
Okay, thank you.
Get out, Mark.
Just so y'all know, if walking out, hiring is done in open meeting, but if you want to discuss Mark's performance, you could do that in executive. So I just want to let you know that.
How y'all want to do that?
What did Reagan say?
He said, you know,
What did
hiring.
Reagan say?
Okay, hiring is an open meeting process, but we could discuss his performance in executive session if we wanted to do that. And maybe not necessarily just his performance, but I think the whole scenario.
In my opinion, we opened it up and received applications, and through COVID has kind of postponed all this and have not had a chance to. I don't think it would be fair to the city or the department nor the applicants if we don't interview, my opinion.
Did you hear that, Amy?
No, say it again, tell me.
Well, Will said in his opinion, we opened it up for applications, and we've got some, and he didn't think it'd be fair to the city or the department or the applicants if we just went ahead and appointed one. I guess you want to go ahead and interview.
Yeah, move forward with interviewing as soon as we can, whether we got to wear masks or.
Will's, he thinks we need to interview, even if we all have to mask up, which we will, while we're interviewing. And
How many applicants do we have?
we got about 6, but now 2 of them from like out of state somewhere. And I think we probably got 3 from there that's got prior experience, maybe. Well, one of them.
So how is the interview process?
Well, if we don't do it tonight and go ahead and, I mean, if we, I agree, we did open up the process, and if we, I mean, I wanted to go ahead, the reason I put it on there is I'm ready to, we need to go ahead and get this done, and we've talked about it for like 4 months. So can we have a special session next week or something and do interviews and then just knock it out?
What was your question, Keith?
I was asking how the interview process would go. Would it be all of us?
Yeah,
Or would it just be?
it'd be better if it's entire board.
Okay, well, you could do personnel, but of course you got open meeting, you do entire board.
Yeah.
What's the legality of that, Megan? I mean, I guess you have the authority, we can do it either way.
You can do it either way.
You mean personnel or entire board?
Well, that too, but I was meaning the
Vote tonight, not
seeking,
interview or
choosing to interview them or not is an option. It's not required by law.
I'll second Kevin.
Oh, Mark. All right, we got a second by Johnny. To move on with Mark.
I don't understand.
To appoint Mark, Johnny said appoint Mark.
He's seconding Kevin Dale's motion.
Okay.
And Will said he was abstaining. So, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, let's move on to item I, is the mobile food ordinance. Eric or Reagan, if y'all want to take this, what do we add to it different?
I didn't look at today enough to give you a synopsis, but Eric, do you have something you want to say?
No, it's basically the same. The only thing we changed was on where it talks about the mobile vendor approval from the city fire inspector. The only thing we changed was or his designated personnel or code enforcement, basically. So it just wouldn't have to be the city fire inspector in case he was not available.
It does require that they not stay overnight unless maybe they're there for a festival. There are certain exceptions for festivals and things like that. It's a list of things they have to do when they apply. It's good for a year, I believe.
A year, yeah.
What was it, $250? Was that what it was? $250. And
they have to be home at midnight, right? Was that?
Yes.
I believe it was midnight. They have to have,
12.
they have to maintain insurance. Other than that, we took what was a lot of what was in the other one and we trimmed out what we could to make it simpler, shorter, easier to read.
Right.
They have to have a serve safe.
They already have to have
They
that.
have to have
That, we mentioned that, you know, it's a part of our application. Any licenses they have to have, they give us a copy of that too.
We
Is there a copy of it in my email? I'm looking, I don't see it.
I think Reagan sent the differences today, or Eric, do you know?
No, I didn't today. I sent it last time. I sent it before the last meeting.
And the only thing that changed was that one thing I just mentioned about the inspection on it.
Yeah, the only thing that changed on it or added to it was the inspection from the building inspector or his designee.
So that was just a day change?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you want to approve it, they need to approve it with that change.
Right.
Okay.
It needs what?
Approve it with that one change.
Okay.
Rather than the one last month.
Did you hear the change, Amy?
No, I'll tell you, I mean, a little bit about the building inspector and his designee, read it to me.
Well,
I want to read it myself.
It came in July 2nd, so you should have it.
No, I saw that, but the changes, I'm sorry, I'm looking, hold on. Go ahead and say it. The one thing I put my big questions on, they do go home every day, right?
Yeah.
They have to go home every day. They have to pay for a permit.
$250.
They have to pay taxes and show that they did all that. Okay, and then my biggest concern, and it's Sunday, it's every day of the week they can do it, right?
She said.
They go on Sunday, in other words.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah, every day, 7 days a week.
And my other question is there something in there, because I looked at it, but it's been a minute. Is there something in there that says there could be special circumstances to be downtown, and if we wanted to do it like after a Magnolia Civic Center performance, or there's special circumstances where we could have food trucks in different places and all that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not required for the city of
They can do special.
Okay, so the only place you can't have them, where are the places you can't have them? Residential?
Residential.
That's just normal zoning. We allowed in commercial and industrial.
Industrial, yeah.
Well, the only 2 places they are allowed is commercial and industrial.
On city property.
Okay, but not in C, but can we have it in C1?
On private property.
If it's on private property, if it's anything on city property, we'd have to approve each circumstance. I mean, like a festival.
Gotta be a special circumstance. Okay, just making sure. Okay, but some of our current food trucks that are around town the way this is gonna affect them, there's some that we know are set up permanently, so they're just gonna have to start going home, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If they want to be treated as a food truck, they do. If they want to be treated as something else, they can make that claim.
Did you hear what Reagan said? If they want to be considered as a food truck.
I did. Okay. I did.
And the only thing was adding, and if you adopt it tonight, it'll be with that addition that the building inspector or his designee will have to inspect before they can open it. You know, I guess that'd be yearly, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
So that permit is good for a year.
Okay.
What about the?
And I just want to clarify the reason why we're doing this, because I
that was taken out.
That was removed. Yeah.
But sorry.
Making sure.
I was fine with the state regulations, but the reason why we need to make those stricter and have a municipal code is because I'm waiting to hear why.
Oh,
She's asking.
Just because every other city does it, and we just don't need a food truck on every corner just setting up anywhere.
I would just say that you just have
Okay, well, don't want to do it just because every other city does it. I don't like that reason. But, I'm just saying, I'm going to do it because, the only reason we need ordinances is if we need to make a law stricter than the state. And so I'm trying to make sure we need to make a law stricter than the state. So I'm trying to make sure while we're doing that.
Well,
Reagan's got another answer.
2 things. Number one, it was all focused on safety, number one. So that was to enhance safety.
What do you say?
To enhance safety is number one.
Number 2 is you want businesses run in a way that promotes your city, that things are efficient and done well, not in a haphazard manner.
And number 2 is you want a business to run in an efficient way that promotes the city, not in a haphazard way that would degrade from the city.
Okay. And number 3, I do think we want to make sure when businesses are coming from other places and out of town and all that, that we are getting that tax money, right? I mean, we want to make sure we're getting
That's
the
in there.
money that we
Yeah.
need. They pay a permit, we can regulate it, all of that, right? Because we wouldn't be able to regulate it if we didn't do that. Right?
That's all in there. The only thing we're adding to it is.
No, I know, but I'm saying all this publicly because I think people will ask why we needed it, and I want to make sure we're stating why we need it. Safety is big because we need our fire codes and our code enforcer to be able to enforce laws, and that's one thing. 2 is the taxes and the money that we can get, and 3 is to be more efficient and all of that. I'm just making sure that the media is picking that up from why we're doing this. Okay, I move that we adopt it.